Taurus, right now an account is being closed in the cosmic archives of the universe. An account with your name on it. A debt you've been carrying for 10 whole years without even knowing it existed. You know that weight you feel in your chest in the morning before you even open your eyes? That feeling that life has been harder for you than it should be, slower, heavier, full of obstacles that make no sense? This weight has a name. It's the outstanding balance of a karmic account that has finally, after a whole decade of silent payments, been completely paid off. On August 29th and 30th, 2025, the universe will do something it hasn't done in 10 years. It will look directly at you and say, "Thank you. Thank you for hanging in there. Thank you for persisting when any sensible person would have given up. Thank you for maintaining your integrity even when it cost you dearly. Thank you for paying a bill that wasn't entirely yours, but that someone had to pay. And that person was you." For 10 years, you've been wondering why good things come so slowly into your life, why you have to fight 3 times harder than others to achieve half of what they do, why your efforts seem to disappear into a cosmic black hole, as if the universe were sucking your energy for some purpose you don't understand. The answer is simple and will give you chills: because you were paying. Every difficulty you faced, every door that closed in your face, every time things worked out for everyone but you, was a payment being debited from your karmic account. Do you remember 2015? Something changed in your life that year. You might not have noticed at the time because the change was subtle, but that's when the pressure began. Since 2015, no year has been truly easy for you. There's always been something. There's always been an obstacle bigger than you expected, a disappointment deeper than you deserved, an effort that didn't yield the proportional result. And you, being a Taurus, did what you always do. You put your head down and kept moving. You kept working. You kept believing. You kept paying a bill you didn't even know you owed. The karmic debt you carried this decade wasn't just yours. It was a collective debt accumulated over lifetimes. Situations where you chose ease over truth, where you opted for comfort over growth, where you preferred to stay in the safety zone instead of facing what needed to be faced. But in this life, as a Taurus, you were chosen to be the official payer, the one responsible for settling this debt once and for all. And you paid with every relationship that didn't work out despite your loyalty to the end. You paid with every project that failed despite your dedication to it. You paid with every person who took more from you than they deserved and gave you less than they needed. You paid with every time you were the last to give up, the last to accept that something was over, the last to stop believing. Your Taurian persistence wasn't just a personality trait, it was the cosmos's chosen method of payment. The cruelest part of this karmic debt is that you paid it off mostly with time. 10 years of your life where everything took longer than it should have, where you had to repeat lessons you'd already learned, where you were stuck in situations that for any other sign would have resolved in months, but for you dragged on for years, where your natural patience was tested beyond any reasonable limit, forcing you to develop an emotional resilience you didn't even know you possessed. You paid with denied stability. For 10 years, every time you were about to achieve that security you value so much as a Taurus, something would happen to mess it all up again. An unexpected health problem, a financial crisis no one saw coming, a relationship that seemed solid crumbling overnight, as if the universe was purposefully preventing you from finding the peace you've always sought, not out of cruelty, but because instability was necessary to accelerate your spiritual growth. The bill you paid included heavy interest charged in the form of loneliness. For how many years did you feel misunderstood, as if you spoke a language no one else understood, as if your values, your way of loving, your need to build solid and lasting things were flaws in a society that prioritizes the disposable and the superficial? This loneliness was no accident. It was part of the process of refining your soul, separating you from influences that would impede your true growth. Taurus, over the past 10 years, you've developed a wisdom that can't be bought or taught. You've learned the difference between wise persistence and self-destructive stubbornness. You've learned that not every battle is worth fighting, but the ones that deserve your full dedication. You've learned that your loyalty is a precious gift that should only be offered to those who demonstrate their worth through consistent actions, not just fine words. The debt was paid through your unique ability to transform suffering into strength. While other signs crack under pressure or shy away from difficulties, you absorbed them, processed them, and transformed them into stronger determination. Each emotional scar you carry represents an integrated lesson, a level of maturity achieved, a layer of wisdom that is now a permanent part of your essence. You paid with the most valuable currency you possessed, your trust. For 10 years, people and situations shattered your faith in human kindness, in the justice of the universe, in the rewards of honest effort. Every betrayal you suffered, every promise others broke, every time your good intentions were interpreted as weakness, was a payment being debited from your account. And you kept trusting, kept believing, kept being good, even when it seemed foolish. The karmic account also included payments in the form of silent sacrifices that no one ever knew or acknowledged. How many times have you given up what you wanted so others could have what they needed? How many times have you put other people's dreams before your own? How many times have you been the invisible foundation that supported buildings for which you never even earned credit? These sacrifices did not go unnoticed by the universe. Each one was recorded, accounted for, and added to your payment balance. The debt you paid off was also about learning to value what truly matters. For 10 years, the universe removed from your life everything that was false, superficial, and temporary. People who didn't add real value, situations that seemed safe but were actually gilded prisons, goals you thought you wanted but didn't align with your true evolution. It was a brutal process of refinement where only what was genuinely yours endured. On August 29th and 30th, 2025, something extraordinary will happen in the energetic frequency that governs your life. The meter will reset. The account that showed a debit balance for 10 whole years will finally show paid. And when this happens, you will feel it physically. It will be as if someone lifted a very heavy backpack from your back. As if you were able to breathe deeply for the first time in a decade. As if gravity finally decided to work in your favor. The first thing that will change is the speed at which good things arrive in your life. For 10 years, everything arrived slowly, with resistance, requiring disproportionate effort. From these 2 days on, you'll notice that doors open more easily, that people respond better to your efforts, that your projects flow more naturally. It's not that you'll stop working hard. That will never change because it's part of your Taurus nature. But your work will finally yield proportional returns to the investment you make. The right people will start appearing in your life at a rate that will surprise you. For 10 years, you've known the wrong people, people who drained your energy without contributing anything substantial in return. Now that your debt is paid, you've developed an intuitive ability to immediately recognize who's worth it and who isn't. And the worthy people will be magnetically drawn to your new energetic frequency. Money and material resources, which have always been so difficult to come by, will begin to flow more naturally. Not necessarily in large quantities at once. You're still a Taurus and still value gradual, solid construction, but without the inexplicable obstacles that always appeared to complicate your financial achievements. Projects you've been planting for years will finally bear fruit. Past investments of time and energy will begin to pay dividends. Your health, which may have been a point of concern these past 10 years, will stabilize remarkably. Your physical body, which absorbed so much stress and tension during the karmic debt repayment period, will begin to regenerate. Chronic problems that seemed insoluble will find healing paths. Your vital energy, which was being drained to settle the cosmic debt, will return to you in full. Taurus, the most profound transformation that will occur is in how you relate to worthiness. For 10 years, you were conditioned to accept less than you deserved, to settle for crumbs, to believe that asking for more was greedy or unrealistic. Now that your debt has been paid, you will regain a clear sense of your own worth. You will stop accepting inadequate treatment. You will stop settling for unbalanced relationships. You will stop working for recognition that never arrives. The patience you've developed over these 10 years of trials will become your superpower. But now, it will be a consciously chosen patience, not one imposed by circumstances. You'll know exactly when it's worth waiting and when it's time to act, when it's worth persisting and when it's wise to give up, when it's worth forgiving and when it's necessary to set definitive boundaries. The trust that has been broken and rebuilt so many times will emerge in a wiser and more selective form. You won't return to being naive. The lessons of the last 10 years are permanently embedded in your personality, but you won't become cynical either. You'll develop a refined ability to assess people and situations, trusting when there are real reasons to trust, protecting yourself when there are signs that protection is needed. Romantic relationships, which have been a particular source of pain and learning this decade, will take on a completely different quality. You'll no longer attract people who need to be fixed or who see you as a source of emotional stability they themselves lack. You'll attract partners who are already whole, who bring as much as they receive, who value your Taurian nature without trying to change or exploit it. Creativity and natural talents that may have lain dormant during these years of focusing on emotional survival will resurface with renewed vigor. Artistic projects, hobbies that once brought you joy, skills you neglected because you lacked the time or energy, all of these will return to your life, but now with a clearer purpose and potential for fulfillment that wasn't there before. Taurus, you'll notice that people around you will start treating you differently without you having changed anything in your outward behavior. It's because your internal energy has fundamentally shifted. You no longer carry that invisible heaviness of the last 10 years. You no longer emit the frequency of someone paying off a cosmic debt. Your presence will naturally become lighter, more attractive, more magnetic. The professional opportunities you've pursued for years without complete success will begin to materialize in unexpected ways, not necessarily in the way you imagined, but in ways that will make you realize the universe had a better plan than what you could see at the time. Contacts you made in the past will resurface with interesting proposals. Skills you developed in seemingly unimportant contexts will reveal exactly what you need to seize new opportunities. The constant feeling of being behind in life that may have plagued you these past 10 years will disappear completely. You'll understand that you weren't behind, you were preparing. Each year that seemed lost was actually building the solid foundation for what's coming now. Each difficult experience was forging the version of you capable of handling the blessings that are about to arrive. Most impressively, you'll begin to understand the purpose behind every hardship you've faced this decade. Situations that seemed random or unfairly cruel will reveal themselves as specific preparation for future challenges and opportunities. People who hurt you will be understood as harsh teachers who taught you lessons that couldn't have been learned gently. Taurus, there's a reason your karmic debt is being paid off right now, in August 2025. It's because you've finally developed all the qualities necessary to receive the blessings the universe wants to bestow upon you. You've proven your integrity under pressure. You've demonstrated your ability to remain true to yourself even when it costs you dearly. You've shown that you can build lasting things even when available materials are limited. The gratitude you'll feel over these 2 days will be unlike anything you've ever experienced. It won't just be relief that hardships are over, but a profound understanding that every obstacle helped shape the extraordinary person you've become. You'll look back and for the first time feel genuine gratitude for having gone through everything you've been through, because you'll understand that it was necessary to get to where you are now. The next few weeks after August 29th and 30th will be spent adjusting and adapting to your new energetic reality. You may feel a bit lost initially because you've become accustomed to operating under constant resistance. When the resistance suddenly disappears, you need to learn to recalibrate your efforts. It's like someone who's been pushing on a locked door for 10 years and then suddenly the door opens. You may even stumble initially. But this adaptation will be quick because you're still a Taurus, still possessing your solid instincts for gradual, sustainable growth. The difference is that now your efforts will yield proportional results. Your persistence will be rewarded appropriately. Your loyalty will be reciprocated. Your kindness will be valued rather than exploited. Your ability to create stability will finally be able to manifest in your own life. The version of you that emerges after paying this karmic debt is not a different person. It is the purest, most powerful version of who you always were, but free from the invisible chains that limited your full manifestation. You have maintained your Taurian essence through the 10-year storm, and now you can express that essence without karmic obstacles. The universe finally heard you, Taurus. It heard every silent prayer. It saw every tear shed in solitude. It recorded every unrecognized act of kindness. It accounted for every sacrifice made without expecting anything in return. And after 10 years of compiling this information, it concluded that your bill was paid abundantly, with interest, with generosity that exceeded all expectations. On August 29th and 30th, 2025, prepare not only for the end of a cycle, but for the beginning of an era where your life finally reflects its true value, where your virtues are assets, not vulnerabilities, where your Taurian way of loving and building finds the fertile soil it always deserved to fully flourish. The wait is over. The bill has been paid. Now it's time to receive the dividends of a decade of forced investment in your own spiritual growth. And these dividends will surpass any expectations you might have, because the universe is more generous to those who deserve it than any human mind can imagine. If you recognized yourself in this description of your decade of karmic settlements, it's because this message was specifically for you. Share in the comments which year was the most difficult of these 10, because your courage to name suffering is part of the final liberation process. Your experience can help other Tauruses recognize their own karmic settlement processes. Subscribe to the channel, because what happens after paying off a 10-year karmic debt is uncharted territory that will require specific guidance. How to receive blessings after becoming accustomed to hardships. How to trust in ease after a decade of resistance. How to manage the abundance that's coming. Turn on notifications to follow each stage of this transformation. You paid, you deserved it. Now it's time to receive it. And get ready, because the universe is about to show you that every sacrifice you made in these 10 years of inner construction was worth it.